This is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on a budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a current subscriber, what's up? You're greatly appreciated. Come on in, make yourself at home. You know the routine. This week takes me to Goodwill in Tampa. Found some very cool 80s, 70s and 80s miniseries. Have a Warner Brothers archive, have a 4K Steelbook Star Wars pickup, have a Turbine 3D joint, also have a Kino Lover pick, so I have some bangers in here. But before I get into what I picked up, I only got collect movies. Yes, I'm one of these weird, wild individuals. I actually watch them. And on a weekly basis, I like to share some of the things I've watched, either streaming on the Fire Stick, physical media, or live in the theater with my family. And I'm going to kick it off with some physical media. This first pick is the 1986 American action film Avenging Force. This was directed by Sam Furstenberg, written by James Booth, produced by Yoram Globus. This stars Michael Dudikoff, Stephen James, Bill Wallace, John P. Ryan. The plot behind this: a retired U.S. Secret Service agent, Captain Matt Hunter, has retired to his family's Castle Ranch in Louisiana and Texas, and his sister Sarah and grandfather. They drive to New Orleans and meet Matt's old military comrade and local politician Larry Richards, who is now running for U.S. Senate. At dinner, Larry hesitantly mentions threats made against his life during the election cycle, which he dismisses as harmless. And this is what I like to refer to as a midnight movie. Back in the 80s, these are the movies you see like at midnight. Either they'd be a big name, Schwarzenegger, Eddie Murphy, Wesley Snipes, something like that. Though when those movies weren't available, movies like Avenging Force, that's what we'll watch. You have so choreography in the fighting. It's more 80s action, little cheese, little over the top action though, but still very fun. And I believe Michael Dudikoff and the actor who played Larry Richards, I believe they were in American Ninja together, so they have some decent chemistry together though. Not a great film though, but a fun 80s film. So if you like that 80s over the top cheesy action, definitely check out Avenging Force. My next pick is a 2025 biography documentary on Netflix, Sunday's Best: The Untold Story of Ed Sullivan. This is directed by Sasha Jenkins and has a lot of guest appearances: the Beatles, Harry Belafonte, James Brown. And the plot behind this, or the story behind Ed Sullivan, it examines the groundbreaking career of pioneering television host Ed Sullivan, focusing on his platforming of Black musicians during the Civil Rights era. And I was quite familiar with Ed Sullivan. Well, I take it back. I wasn't as familiar with Ed Sullivan as I thought I was. Whenever I hear Ed Sullivan, they're usually talking about Elvis or the Beatles. That's how the Beatles pretty much got their big start in America, on the Ed Sullivan Show. But I didn't realize though he was so instrumental in getting a lot of Black artists on the show. And this is a time where they didn't necessarily want Black people on television. And he would actually personally book all the acts. And just a little bit on Ed, Irish guy. He looks like he'd either be a prize fighter or a mobster. He just had that kind of look. He was very awkward on stage, but that was part of the appeal. I think people liked that awkwardness. He just came across like a decent guy. And he really was. So they asked him, why was it so important for you to get all these Black acts on at a time where they really want Blacks on television? And he said his father, an Irish immigrant, was used to being discriminated against, and he said you should never treat anybody any differently than you would want to be treated. I'm paraphrasing that. And that had a lot of feel behind him getting a lot of these acts on stage. And even at the point where the network was telling him, well, if you have him on stage, don't get close to him, don't shake their hands. He would hug them. He gave Pearl Bailey a kiss. He shook Harry Belafonte's hand. So, very great documentary. Need to have more stories about this, about guys like this you really don't hear the other side of them. So, great documentary. Sunday's Best, The Untold Story of Ed Sullivan. My next pick, another movie I watched streaming. This is a 2025 American survival horror film, Until Dawn. This was directed by David F. Sandberg. Screenplay by Gary Dauberman. And this is based on the Until Dawn PlayStation video game. It was produced by Asad Kizilbash. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that man's name correctly. This stars Ella Rubin, Michael Cimino, Odessa Azion, Ji Young Yu, Belmont Cameli, Maria Mitchell, Peter Stormare. And the plot behind this, Clover, her ex-boyfriend Max, her friends Nina and Megan, and Nina's boyfriend Abe are retracing the steps of Clover's missing sister, Melanie. The group stops by a gas station from which Melanie had previously sent a message, and Clover meets the station's attendant, Hill. He claims that people tend to go missing near a mining town called Glory Valley. The group drives there, but heavy rainfall forces them to seek shelter at a visitor center. And I know nothing about the video game, but I've talked to a few people. They say if you play the video game, you probably won't like the movie. If you never play the video game, you'll like the movie. Never played the video game, I like the movie. It's kind of a slasher movie with a slight twist to it. I don't want to spoil it for you what the twist is, though, but I'll say relatively creative, interesting, entertaining, has a tongue-in-cheek type of dark humor to it, though, but again, very fun movie. Like the ending, like the whole movie, though. So if you like that little quirky, unorthodox horror movie with a little twist of dark humor, definitely check out Until Dawn. My last film is a 2024 Canadian post-apocalyptic thriller, 40 Acres. This is directed and written by R.T. Thorne, produced by Jennifer Holness, starring Danielle Deadweiler, Kadam O'Connor, Michael Greyeyes, Melkania Diaz Rojas, Lena Robinson. The plot behind this, you have an African-American farmers who settled in 1875 in rural Canada after the First Civil War. 200 years later, they're trying to survive in a decimated future. And very good apocalyptic sci-fi film. It's not a lot of action, but it's a lot of suspense, and it's a little bit character development, letting you know how these different characters got here and what they're forced to do to survive. At this time period, farming land is the most important thing, and these people are tasked with trying to protect their farming land so they can pretty much stay alive for their family. And it's called 40 Acres for a reason. I believe it goes back to the slave agreement that was supposed to happen, never happened, 40 acres and a mule. And it has some references to that, as well as one of the main characters happens to be Native American also. So that also plays into the 40 Acres title, though. But really good film. Liked it from beginning to end. Not a lot of action, though, but great suspense and just great storytelling. So if you like that type of story, that type of film, definitely check out 40 Acres. Now, without further ado, sit back, relax, have a drink of a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video.
Back at the Black Cave. Back at the Black Cave. We are back at the motherfucking Black Cave. Have my pickups here from Goodwill. Have my weekly pickup here from Cash America Pawnshop. Have a banging 4K Steelbook. Have a Warner Brothers 70s archive collection from Warner Brothers. My 3D pick for the week. My classic pick for the week, Kino Lorber. So have some bangers this week. Let me get these scanned in and we'll jump right into it. Hold on. Jump right into what I picked up at Cash America. If you're not familiar with the channel, I'll go there at least once a week. They have a pretty good influx of new movies, but this is the Comic Legends series, Tim Conway, timeless comedy. And I grew up watching Tim Conway. Can't remember if the first time I saw him was on Carol Burnett or a Disney film though, but very funny guy. I think he passed away. I'm not positive though, but very unique comedian. Kind of a physical comedian. I loved he and Don Knotts had a great chemistry together. And this is a MPI release, Tim Conway, and paid a whopping, I'll tell you that in a second. Secondly, Ken, from the producers of Arrivals and Stranger Things. Now, I know they have a 4K available for this at Hamilton Book. I think it's like 7 something, but I'm cool with the Blu-ray. I believe I saw this on Netflix the first time, but you have the Blu-ray and the disc. We'll see if the code still works. This is a Lionsgate release, so Lionsgate audio usually is off the chain. So lastly, from Cash America, we have the unrated edition of Megan. And this is interesting, kind of almost like a female version of Chucky type movie. If you haven't seen it, I'm not gonna spoil it for you though, but very fun movie. I know they came out with a sequel to this. So Megan, the Blu-ray and the DVD. And for these three, Cash America, paid a whopping $6.50. So $3 for the Blu-rays, 50 cents for the DVD. Funny thing about Cash America, depending on who's checking me out, kind of determines what the prices are. As I've said before, I've gotten them for free, $1 a Blu-ray, $2. So it just really differs, but good place, good people. So I'm not bitching at all. Next, going to get into what I picked up at Goodwill. This was a big thing back in the 70s. Yeah, 1977. This was a mini-series, Rich Man, Poor Man. Never saw this. Interesting. Has actors that I like: Nick Nolte, Ed Asner from, I think Mary Tyler Moore, I believe. But you have 7 disc set. I think all the discs are pretty much the same. Yeah. I think this was kind of a drama. I love triangle drama, if I remember correctly. Again, I don't recall if I watched this or not, though, but again, I just remember this was all the rage back in the late 70s. And Goodwill kind of tripping on the prices a little bit, though. I looked it up online, though, on Amazon and eBay. It was a decent price, $11.98, and I believe this is an A&E release, A&E TV Universal release. Good Man, Poor Man. Next, I have the 1980 miniseries Universal release, Shogun. And this is based on, I believe, a award-winning novel here. Very cool set here. You have just one. Put that around this 2. disc 3, disc 4, and disc 5. And you fold it up here. You have the sword. And for this, I paid a whopping $4, so not bad on this one also. So, and one other one. Glad I had my movie app for this, because there's like the Grinch Who Stole Christmas DVD. You have all these variations of the Grinch. Oh, still in the packet also. My Wesley Snipes here, aka the Real Blade. Billy Bob Thornton Sling Blade here. And I believe I had this on, may have this on DVD, but I did not have it on Blu-ray. The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, Warner Brothers. And the slip cover, see if I can get this stupid sticker off. And for these three, add them up with tax, paid a whopping $21.44. Not too bad. A little bit more than what I normally pay though, but I looked them up on eBay and Amazon, so they are decent prices. Next, I have another 70s cartoon, Warner Archives, and they're cranking out some of these old 70s cartoons, so have to be patient and watch how they're pricing so I can get the best pricing for those. But Josie and the Pussycats, the complete series, Warner Brother Archive. Next, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Saw this lot. I saw the series of this. Very good season, a very good series. Enjoyed it a lot. I actually like this more than Andar. I know Andar gets a lot more pub. They have a second season that just released, which I haven't watched yet though, but I really like this. I like how they tied this into the original Star Wars characters. So, Ashoka, the J card here. And the spine. And I know there's some collectible cards here I'm not going to take out. And the inside art, the 4K. And that right there, very cool show. Ashoka, Steelbook 4K and Blu-ray. With the collectible cards. Next, my classic Kino Lorber pick, James Earl Jones, Estelle Parsons, UFO Incident. I believe Estelle Parsons was in Watermelon Man, I believe though. But this is the dramatization of the iconic UFO abduction of Betty and Barney Hill. Except they dealt more with the relationship between Benny and Barney Hill as related to how they dealt with the alleged UFO abduction incident. So a little slow though, but it was interesting. I'm a huge sci-fi nut, which is more emphasizing the sci-fi part of it, but they're dealing more with the actual dramatic fallout and emotional fallout that Betty, and Barney Hill had though. But glad to have this in my Kino Lorber collection, the UFO Incident. And my 3D pick for the week, Barnes Turbines, Fast and Furious 9. I think I watched the first 30 minutes of this just to check out the 3D. Looks very nice. Very happy with the 3D conversion on this. No Turbine would probably hear from this though, but keep cranking out the 3D movies. Love what they're doing. Not all of them are great though, but they're putting forth effort, and I'm seeing a little, seems like improvement in every Turbine 3D release that I see. So this is my Pawnshop Goodwill pickup for the week. If you're familiar with the channel, this is where I separate the art from the disc and the plastic so I can actually make room for all these movies. A lot of these will actually hit the shelves though, so give me a few moments. I'll get these situated and get you good people on your way. Hold on. I have everything scanned into my CLZ Movies app. C is in Cannonball Run, L is in Leonard Part 6, Z is in Zookeeper. Let's knock this out. I have everything laid out, ready to be put back in its proper place. As usual, I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in, leaving comments. If you made this far, smash the like, give me the big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you check out my Saturday collection videos, same place, same time. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Everyone, please be safe. Deuces.